Hey there, Sages. Happy Friday. Hope you've had a great week. I've had a really wonderful week here in southern Delaware near Bethany Beach. And I share a little bit about that in the Weekender that I just put up, where it's been a wonderful time of some rest and some work and some play and such a welcome thing here in this beautiful place at this time of the year. So what I want to do as we wrap up the month is kind of put a ribbon on the theme that we've had about having a big vision, but not such a massive big list. We're talking about big vision, small list, not so concerned about growing your list, but growing your relationships. So you know that on the last Friday of the month, I like to drink Arabic coffee and tell you about the lessons I learned in an Arabic neighborhood. And nothing would be complete about my time there if I didn't talk to you about drinking coffee and all that happened over coffee. So if you followed me for a while, you know 3E Marketing Solutions was all based on a coffee theme and everything we did around my kitchen table and the way we kicked off the business. But that really came from what happened in Nazareth and the amazing relationships that were forged there and formed there, and really just over these tiny cups of coffee, which are the best coffee ever. If you've not had it, you've got to try it. And I have a little note below about let's drink coffee, and I'm looking forward to having coffee with many more of you, whether we're live across from one another at a coffee shop or a cafe, or we're having a Zoom coffee. But the point of all of this is those beautiful lessons that I learned really really showed me that those relationships can be forged even over tiny cups of coffee like this. How long do you think it takes to drink a coffee like this? Well, you don't usually just have one, but you're sitting around. The women would basically say, Yalla, Nishrab, Ahweh, come over, let's drink coffee, and someone would put the coffee on, and we would gather at her house. And when I had the honor of everyone gathering at my house, at first, as you know my story about shaking in my boots, making this coffee, eventually I became very proficient at making Arabic coffee, and and would have a kitchen full or a dining room full of women around my table drinking coffee. But those relationships were with just one street in a city. And I think of how those relationships became forged as the relationships were built and nurtured and cultivated over time. Just what great vast opportunity came as a result. First of all, there are lifelong relationships there, of course, but I think of the way the give and the take, the things I learned over these tiny this is called a finjan, over a tiny finjan of coffee, a little demi-tasse of coffee, and a little bit of knowledge or a part of the language or part of the culture imparted to me then became built upon cumulatively, visit after visit, year after year, until that just became a vibrant part of who we were and how we lived. So this is really what I want us to look at in a very digitized world where we've all gone on Zoom and we are all, in this marketplace and still trying to figure out now that, are we going to be in a hybrid situation? Are we going back, face to face? Are we still doing everything virtually? I think people are craving for that sense of let's have coffee. And the deepening of relationships is really the interest in the others. There's no way you're Nazareth without someone asking, Kif halik, how are you? Right? So, how's your family? How are your children? Someone is inquiring after you. And I think a lot of times we can be kind of like just the facts, ma'am, and just get right down to it, where I feel that forging relationships and cultivating and fostering those relationships is such a great way to build community as you build your business, to build a tribe, to build not just a following, fans, likes, comments, shares, all of that. That's all amazing, but it doesn't actually necessarily translate to relationships, and that is really the focus for me this month. So that's where the 5-day challenge was don't grow your list, grow your relationships. Can you dig in a little deeper to those relationships? What's the back and the forth? What's the give and the take? What can be fostered and cultivated there? And I think of my years in Nazareth And I think of all the takeaways and the things that are cemented into my life because people invited me for coffee. Yalla, the coffee's on the fire. Yalla, Nishrab, Ahweh. Yalla, come on over and drink coffee. And just by that small gesture, a connection was made, and then another one, until it was deepened through the years to the point where this became my family. I lived across the world away from my mother and my sisters, and these women were my sisters. They were my family. They held me up. They took care of me. They looked after me. We were part of them. They were part of us. That doesn't have to be a foreign concept that happened, in the Middle East, somewhere far away. That can happen right here, right now. And for those of us who can't do that, possibly, live yet, or we don't feel comfortable, the people that are in a community aren't feeling comfortable, we can still do this on Zoom. The field has been leveled because of what happened and us all going on Zoom. So I want to encourage you to take up, and I'm going to be posting something this afternoon as I wrap up this 5-day challenge. How many coffee meetings can you get on your books, whether you are in person or you are on Zoom? How can you start to do that and fill your calendar with these coffee meetings? It's how I started my business all those years back. It's something that has served me through the years, and it's something that cements me to the relationships going forward. Just being able to have coffee. It doesn't mean you need to spend the day. I'm going to give a big shout out to Judy Ronco. I had an awesome time with you this morning. We went to Turtle Beach Cafe on Bethany Beach. We sat and had coffee. We collaborated on stuff. We put our heads together, connected, shared, supported. It was awesome. Okay, and they're the kinds of things that we can do. We can just have coffee with one another. We both had our notebooks out. We were both sharing back and forth, phones going, showing one another things. How can we advance one another? I'm looking forward to seeing Terry tomorrow. We saw Alexis today too. Like that exciting thing of us getting back in the space of one another. So wonderful. I was excited to spend time at a Bethany Fenwick Area Chamber of Commerce networking meeting this week, and to see people I haven't seen in a long time. Big shout out to Susan Ryan from the Good Earth Market as well for hosting us, and Lauren Weaver from the Chamber. Great stuff. And these are opportunities that, it's been such a long time that we may be thinking, to resurrect that, how to get back on that. It's as simple as pulling out your calendar, pull it out a text message and say, hey, we want to get together for coffee, find out how we can better support one another going forward. It's that simple, right? Yalla, Nishrab, Ahweh. Come on, let's drink coffee. And it's just that simple. So I'm going to encourage you to put some coffee meetings on your books for the month of July. We start using excuses. Everybody's away in July. No, they're not. We're entrepreneurs. We're not all, going away for the whole summer. We're still running our businesses every day. So I'm going to encourage you, get some coffee meetings on your books, whether you're doing that live or in person. If you want to come drink Arabic coffee with me, this stuff is fantastic. Let me know, and you can come, and I will make Arabic coffee for you. Or we'll meet at Starbucks, which is my favorite place to drink coffee. We can meet anywhere. In Wilmington, I'm down here at the beach, at times too here in Delaware. If you're not in Delaware and you're not nearby, that doesn't mean we can't have coffee together. We can put a Zoom meeting on the books, a coffee meeting, and connect with one another and take things to the next level. A lot of times we're looking at our businesses and we're looking at it one-dimensionally, and we're not really thinking of cultivating those relationships. How can I take that relationship to that next level? How can I support someone? How can I have someone support me? I love what we do in Women's Speakers Association. Often we're talking about, what is your ask? And a lot of times maybe a little bit shy or hesitant, to make an ask. But it's okay to say, here's what I need. Here's what would really help me move forward. I would love 5 people to come and subscribe to my blog. I would love 5 people to join my Facebook group. I would love a referral for what's coming up in something that I'm offering. Let's not be afraid to support, to ask, to support one another, to give, to take, to drink coffee, whether virtually or in person, and really just take that relationship along and move the needle on it, so that we could both can support one another and get to the next place. and where we're going. So look for that post. It's coming here shortly after I wrap up today. And just a challenge for you to get what are the number of coffee meetings you're going to get on your books. And here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Get the coffee meeting on your books. Where did you initially meet that person? How are you going to take the relationship forward? What is your next best step? What is your hope for outcome? Whether you want them to subscribe to your blog, join your group, buy your program, be a guest on your podcast, whatever that next step is, so that you're clear when you're getting on the phone. Maybe it's time for someone to work with you. Do you have your packages ready to go and your offers ready to go? So if they're like, oh, this is perfect, I want to work with you, that you're not caught off guard. You're ready to go and take things to the next level. So, Yalla, Nishrab, Ahweh, let's drink coffee and let's reconnect with one another, and let's use this summer to really bolster those relationships and make the most of this second half of the year. Before I let you go, a couple of things coming up next week as we wrap up June. There's a Connect and Collaborate happening on Tuesday from 12 to 1:30. I'll put the info here in the group. Book Club is our last few chapters of The Magic of Tiny Business. We're wrapping up that book. That is happening at 8 a.m. So that's a new time at 8 a.m. So bring your cup of coffee or tea and be ready to discuss and share your insights from that book. I will not be recording the session. I'll just be having the conversation on Zoom with who's ever in the room. And sometimes that's just one or two of us, and it's been an awesome conversation, but I'm happy to have more of us as well. So I'm looking forward to having you there. And then on Friday in July, we kick off a new theme. And in keeping with our big vision, small business, it is a big vision, small budget, how to run the whole thing on a shoestring. So I'll be telling you more about all the cool things you can do to market your business, even if you do not have a giant budget to support all of that. So with all of that, I am going to let you go. It is a gorgeous afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy it the rest of the day. You have a fantastic weekend, and I'll catch up with you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.